like to introduce you to 5 essential clinches that we're going to be using in our program. 4 of them come from the Hanji Shodan and 1 comes from basic grappling. So remember, the clinch is going to come after, well, when we look at our 3 goals of combat, it's going to come after the entry and the pressure phases. When we establish that clinch, we're looking to finish what we were doing in pressure, which is break the posture so we can get their balance. So we're going to get started with those in just. So remember that the clinch is the weak spot in MMA-inspired street violence. We're looking to take advantage of that, and we're going to use it to gain command of the situation so that we can go into our 3rd goal, which is the finish. So the first of the clinches we're going to work with from the Hanji Shodan is the yoi position. All right, we're going to use that to get into a neck clinch. Glenn, come on. You guys may remember Glenn from some of the earlier videos. We'll have his dad with us today too, but we're going to start with young Glenn here. So that clinch from previous videos, you've seen how we've gotten into that. It could have been off of something, this position, and I came in and I established this clinch. So there's some key points that we want to make sure that we have. On his head, we want our hands to be up here on the round of his head, okay? At the same time, my forearms are right on his clavicle. So I'm pulling with my hands and pushing with my forearms, and as you can see, it rounds out his back, okay? So again, as I come in, elbows right here on his clavicles, pull with the hands, push with the elbows. Now we're going to use the idea of a steering wheel. And if I turn his head this way, I can pull his body in that direction. Where the head goes, the body will follow. So I can pull him this way, set it up for an elbow strike, set him up for a knee strike, okay? We've even got, when you're working somebody, we can put a headbutt in there. So this one is a really, really great clinch because it's very versatile. One thing it doesn't give you is it doesn't give you control of his arms. So we have to keep in mind that his arms are free to hit or get to a weapon. So this is something that has to be kept in mind. While I do have control of his head and I can set him up well for strikes, we still have the issue of this, okay? So depending on what's going on with weapons later on especially, you'll see that we won't use this clinch. So welcome back. Our second position we're going to take from the Hanji Shodan is the underhook and collar or underhook and control position. So that's coming from this position in the kata. So we call this the single, and this is the chambered hand. Each one has its own role to play. So in kata versus MMA, it's really important that we get these clinch positions, and this one is very versatile and we can use in a lot of different ways. Glenn Senior, can I borrow you, sir? Sure. All right, so this is another one of my black belts. Really great guy, he's been with me a long time. He's going to let me beat him up. All right, so this underhook that we're talking about, we could have gotten here different ways. I could have been swimming in. We're going to teach you how to pummel later on, okay? It could have been off of, let's say, a trap strike, and then I swim into this position. So let me turn you this way a little bit. So this hand is coming up all the way onto his shoulder, and I'm going to be ratcheting down on it, okay? Now I'm going to be in this relationship to him, okay, as I do that. Now this hand, okay, has a job to do too, okay? I might be pulling in like the chambering position right here, okay? Sometimes I'm winding up because he's trying to strike me, okay? And then on other occasions I might be at the head pull, okay? Now speaking of your head, whenever you're doing this, you want your head on the same side as your underhook, and where I like to put it is right in here, okay? I like to get it right in this pocket right here, okay? That actually lets me use my head some for steering and off balancing. All right, so underhooking here, coming in with my head in this position, pulling here. Now I can use that same idea of the steering wheel. I can pull with this arm, raise with this one to turn him, okay? I can work him the other direction. Let's say I want to go the other way. I might come up into his head here as I ratchet here and pull here, and then I'm back again. So I can be setting up knee shots, switching to an underhook and reverse collar, which we'll talk about next. So it's very versatile. There's a lot of things that I can do with it. So continuing on in our journey, for our third clinch, we're going to use the underhook and reverse collar position. So this is the stacked hammer fist position that we're doing in the kata here. So this represents the underhook and the reverse collar. Glenn Senior, if I can borrow you again, sir. So the difference here, I'm going to turn you this way, is when I come in, I'm getting that underhook again, but instead of the hand being here or here, it's in this reversed position here, okay? What's a little different is, I know the hands are like this, one's on his neck, one's on his shoulder, and you're gonna go, well, it doesn't look like the kata. But what's important here is that I'm trying to pull his shoulder towards my elbow. It gives me a level of control I won't get otherwise. So if I'm just here and I'm not trying to pull his shoulder towards that, and that doesn't give me the structure that I need, should he try and change levels and turn in on me here, or if he goes down even lower, so this time go ahead and change levels like you're going for my hips. So boom, so now I'm in trouble, because remember, we're dealing with an MMA skill set. So I want to make sure I'm pulling this shoulder towards this elbow, and that's going to give me the structure I need, so when he goes to do that, it'll actually allows me to change levels with him and prevent him from taking me down. The other thing that's great with this, let me do it in a reverse position here, is that I have great opportunities for knee shots to pike him, and I can lift here and pull his head, and often that'll just take him down right there, okay? This time I'm just going to turn him. So I come in this position, I knee him, and I can turn, and there's an elbow shot right there, okay? I can set him up for the big knee shot to the head, all right? There's just a lot of opportunities here, but the biggie is the closest leg. Most people's legs are not conditioned to take strikes, let alone multiple strikes. So when you end up in this position here, you have that ability to hit, change up your position, and hit that leg multiple times, and actually just destroy that leg. So if you're looking for an opportunity to escape, you might come in, take out the leg so they're incapable of standing on it, and you can escape. So for our continuing series on Kata versus MMA, we're going to go into our fourth clinch. And this one is going to be a 2-on-1. We're going to do it from the double position that's in the kata. All right? Junior, can I steal you? So this double position, if you've seen some of our other videos, you've seen how we've used this in an arm drag position here, just to do an arm drag. I'm going to use it to control this arm, okay? But I've got to set it up properly because we're worried about the opposite hand, okay? So let me do it in this direction so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. If I come in and control that, and I haven't done anything to disrupt his posture, look, he can just pound on me. You know, what about the old ribs there, okay? And life is not good for me. So this is normally set up with some sort of low strike, okay? I usually use a knee shot. So I'm in a position where I can come in with a knee and pike him, okay? So I want to get that pike. The main reason why I'm going for the pike is because when he's in a pike position, this arm is much harder for him to come around and hit. Now, this clinch I tend to use with a clocking motion so that I'm moving away from that arm. So there's a lot more motion involved in this one. Well, all of them have a lot of motion, but this one definitely requires it, okay? Now, the other thing the pike does is it gets his shoulder down so that my shoulder ends up above his shoulder, so I'm pressing down, and as you can see, when I press on his shoulder here, it drives this arm back, okay? So again, we're not doing setups right now, but however I've worked into this, I've gotten that knee shot, okay? And now I pike I get him to pike and I'm driving the shoulder down. Now hit me with the other arm. Especially if I'm clocking on him, it takes the other arm basically out of the picture. So let me do it on this side. Scooch this way a little bit. So I come in, I get the knee shot, he pikes. I get my shoulder on his shoulder, okay? So I've got the 2-on-1, I can drive him down and in, so I got him blocked, okay? All right, for our fifth clinch, we're gonna take it from just general grappling, okay? It's gonna be a rear back control, all right? And we're gonna use one of two hand positions. We might use the old G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip like this, all right? We also have a palm-to-palm grip where we interlace the thumbs, okay? Those two work very, very well for this. Get you, please, sir. So with Junior, so let me turn you this way. So when I take back control, I'm not looking to be up here, all right? There are occasions when you might want to do something there, but for the most part, for us, we're going to be down low, okay? And we're going to position our head in the center of the back, all right? And notice I've got my hips lower than his hips, all right? So that I'm in this position, I've got good posture and I've got good base so that I can work from here. So I'm protected from elbow strikes or anything else that he's trying to do in that position. Now let me offer you an alternative position, and that's being on a 45, all right? If I come on a 45 instead of being directly behind him, there are some advantages. For example, if I use this palm-to-palm grip, when I come in there, I can use that palm-to-palm grip, and I could put it right on the point of his hip. Oh, real quick, I didn't mention it on either one, whether you're using this grip or this grip, we're squeezing the elbows down when we have him in this position so that there's no room for him to get an arm in, start working his way out of the position. So if I'm on that point, okay, I can actually use that point for leverage, okay? I like to call it stir the pot. When I look to take his balance, I'm going to move his hips. So if I stir his hips like I'm stirring a big pot, that's going to help break his posture and give me that balance I need. You can see a little bit what I mean. So if I move his hips, it keeps him off balance. If I'm on that point, I can drop my hands into his hip on this side and use my elbow on this side to pop him around. So that's going to be the 5 basic clinches that we're going to use in Kata versus MMA. Please help us continue to bring you some great videos by subscribing to our channel and sharing our videos.